Brandon W. Hodges, Brandon W. Hodges, Hodges. It's for MISD School Board Trustee from District 5.
John Trischitti, T as in Tom, Rischhitti, current MISD District 5 trustee.
Because I believe that all of our students in Midland deserve a better education than they're being presented.
Well, I've been a big proponent for education and literacy most of my adult life. My background is as a librarian, and I currently run an education and literacy nonprofit. And so I believe that the power education has, and I think that a good education is the most important thing that we can give our students. And I ran initially because I felt that we needed strong literacy and education initiatives to really change student outcomes. I think that that needs to be our North Star, really focus on educational outcomes for students. And so I'm running again to continue that good work, that the trajectory that the district is on, and hopefully continue to see the positive outcomes for kids.
Probably mistrust between the stakeholders of MISD and the board and the administration.
I think there's a couple of issues facing the district. Certainly there's needs in facilities. We have a lot of outdated facilities. It's going to take a pretty significant capital investment for us to address some of those. We have a lot of growth out on the 349 corridor. They need an elementary school out there to help with some of the overcrowding, and just in our secondary campuses as well. We have some capacity issues, so we can really address alignment, vertical alignment academically. We need 9 through 12 on the same campus. We need 6 through 8 in the middle school campuses. So that would be getting 9th grade off the middle school, 6th grade off the elementary schools. And to do that, we're going to have to address our facilities issues. We have an issue with sending $150 million a year to Austin with Robin Hood. I believe local tax dollars should stay local. And so I feel like that's a serious issue in this community especially. Our voters have time and again, very fiscally conservative, and said that, you know, we don't believe that we should be paying a lot of taxes. Well, I think that they should be equally offended that a third of their tax dollars that they do for their school board and the school system leaves this community and doesn't affect local students. So I think that that's an issue as well that we need to address. And I think we need to continue to address educational outcomes for kids. I think that needs to be the primary focus, and everything else kind of supports that. So those would be the 3 biggest issues.
Being able to hire some very talented teachers and support staff to help educate these kids amongst our district. I think we've done a really good job on getting some tenured professional teachers.
I think the greatest accomplishment is coming out of COVID. We went back to school a lot earlier than a lot of districts did statewide. And I think that we've seen that in the results. I think that that was the right move, and the proof is in the pudding on that. You know, moving the district to a B-rated district. We have more A campuses than we've had in a long time. We have fewer failing campuses than we've had in a long time. And so we've really begun to turn the trajectory of the learning in the school system, and I think we need to continue to do that. Public education is an aircraft carrier. It's not a speedboat, so it's difficult to turn. But we need to continue and work on the things that are doing well, continue to assess the things that maybe aren't doing as well, and how we address those and continue that positive movement.
Some of the traits that I'm looking for in a new superintendent is somebody who's going to go out of their way to gain trust with the stakeholders at MISD. They're going to offer support and help to their boots on the ground, which are their teachers across the district, and somebody who is going to be held accountable for the decisions they make in terms of educating our kids.
I think a new superintendent has to be outcome focused, data driven about the student outcomes. I think that they need to have an understanding of what we're doing with in-district charters and 1882 partnerships. I think that those things are important because it's a commitment that we've made as a district to say that competition is good for education. There's not one size fits all for how a student learns, and so I think that we have seen that in the results, and so I want to make sure that the next superintendent really understands that, has a real understanding of the culture of our community, what makes it tick, what works and what doesn't work. I feel like that you'd love for them to have some local ties. You know, it's a challenge to get someone out here and stay here. It can be, and so if they have some local ties, that would certainly be a bonus. But we want them to be education outcome focused, and really bought into what the district and the trajectory of the district is on.
Well, I can't personally just be one board member, move the district academically on my own, but I've got to work with my fellow board members to focus on academics and student outcomes and to try and reduce the noise and gain the trust of the stakeholders throughout Midland.
I think we need to continue to assess what we're doing, what's working. Let's add resources and support to teachers. Teachers are on the front lines doing the work. What do they need to be successful from a curriculum standpoint, from a material standpoint, from a discipline standpoint? How do we support teachers needs to be number one. And the things that are working, let's pour resources, both human and financial, into those things. And the things that aren't working, let's address those and see where we can tweak and better improve it.
Well, my name is Brandon W. Hodges, and I come from a long line of educators. My mom taught at MISD. I have family that attends MISD that spans 3 different campuses from Midland High to Legacy, and I have family that retired from MISD. So supporting our educators and untying their hands to be able to do the things that they're best doing, which is teaching our kids, is my #1 priority. But I want to put discipline in there. I want to untie our teachers' hands so they can have manage the chronic discipline problems they have in their classrooms, so they can focus on educating our kids instead of taking away academic minutes from our kids that are trying to learn and have to use it to manage the discipline problems. We need to change some discipline policies across the district.
You know, that I'm committed to public education in this community, not just professionally but personally. I have 5 kids, 2 of which have already graduated from MISD schools, 3 more that are going to go through there. Regardless of the outcome November 8th, I'm still very much invested in what goes on in public education in our community. As a father, as a, running a literacy nonprofit, those things are important to me. And that I'm a product of public education, and I'm an example that education can change the scope of your life. I was that kid that maybe didn't have the advantages that others did growing up, and so I'm an example of the impact that public education can have. And if we can do that for the students in Midland, then all the better, and that's why I'm running.